You're going to regret lifting all that heavy weight later. Well, I'm 48 and I'm still waiting on that later. Hey, everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. I thought I would chat with you guys and gals a little bit about this today, but a quick reminder, if you guys will please click like down below, be greatly appreciated. If you are not following or subscribed, please do so. And if you would be so kind as to drop me a comment down below, I would appreciate that a lot. Thank you so much. So let's get over to the topic. So again, a lot of what I promote is longevity under the barbell, and these are all lifts I've done this year. So if you just look at these first three lifts here, these are all lifts I've done in 2025. I turned 48 last December, so these are all done at the age of 48, right? It's a nice, clean 2-count pause bench with a flat back with 335. You know, not the greatest bench in the world. My squat and deadlift are better, but 335 flat back, heels flat, with a 2-count pause is decent. I've got a 500 back squat here without sleeves or wraps, right? And we hit depth there. And then I have a 585 deadlift, a nice clean 585 done up here. Yes, I pulled more when I was a few years younger, and we may get back to that. But here's the thing, and these are all pretty much raw lifts, other than, belt, wrist wraps, raw. All right, I've been doing this a long time. My injuries are relatively low. I'm not saying I've never been hurt. My injuries are relatively low. I'm closing in on 50 years old. Those are the sort of weights, that I lift. Those are been my best singles this year, my best maxes. I wake up without pain. I don't hurt. Am I saying I don't get a little tendon pain and DOMs? But that's not from the heavy stuff. Usually if my tendons hurt, it's from my rep work. It's my isolation work, right? Like my belt squats will make my quad tendons hurt. My high rep tricep extension sometimes will make, my elbow tendons a little bit sore sometimes. Okay, but that's the extent of it. I don't get real DOMs. I get a little bit of tendon here or there, right? A little bit of tendon inflammation, but it's pretty minor. It's pretty controllable. That's about the extent of it. And I move fine. I get up. I do plenty of cardio. For those, we'll see what I'm doing by the time this is coming out. But I do 2 minutes of list cardio every day. I'm currently lifting 4 days a week for about an hour and a half. Up to about 2 hours. I'm pretty dang active, right? So anyone who says, "Well, you're lifting that way, you're not caring about your heart." Well, I do cardio every day. I eat a really clean diet. I mean, I'm pretty much right now a chicken, rice, and vegetable type bro. It's more or less what I eat. I do like throw some fruit in there, some watermelon or cantaloupe, sometimes some potatoes, but, lots of vegetables. And here's the thing I'm going to point out to people. When people are getting hurt from lifting heavy, it's not because they're lifting like you saw me doing, okay? How about when people wrap everything up like a mummy, then they wonder why they get hurt, right? Well, my elbows hurt, my knees hurt, so I'm going to wrap everything up. Yeah, that's why you guys get hurt. How many torn adductors, torn quads are from tight knee wraps when squatting? Tons of them. Tons of them. How many of those injuries are from the drugs that people use that are weakening tendons? Okay, yeah, I think a whole lot of them. How about just really, really bad form? Because people say, well, you're doing deadlift with that mixed grip. Yeah. Do you really think that's what tears biceps? I tore a bicep over 20 years ago. So I know what tears biceps. I've seen guys tear biceps with straps with double overhand. No, it's really bad form is a big factor. Overuse is a factor. Drugs are a factor. Lifting heavy is not going to hurt you. So what do we do, though? Do we need to moderate it? Yeah, you can't come in and do endless heavy sets. And that's what I would say to people as they get older. Let's talk about the longevity under the barbell. So how am I still doing that at 48? And I get it, if I was 28, those wouldn't be, the most impressive lifts in the world. Someone would say, do 335 pause bench, 500 squat, 585 deadlift. Meh, that's mid. And they're right, for a power lifter who's over 200 pounds like me, because I did most of those around 217, 218. Yeah, it would be mid. But at 48, come on, guys. How many people are really doing that? Not many. It's rare air. So how do we pull this off? We just mitigate our heavy lifting. You don't come in and lift heavy all the time, right? Notice what I'm doing there. I'm doing triples with a pause squat. 500-pound squatter, but how much do I do pause squats with 365? How about we come in and just do reps with 500 on the deadlift? Nice, clean, solid reps. Do sets of 6 and stuff on a pause bench with nice long pauses, full range of motion exercises. Most of my stuff is 5 reps or over. You take the big 3 out, I don't really go under about 6 reps, right? So we do plenty of other work up to about the 6 to 10 rep range, right? Eat a good diet, sleep. Don't eat junk food. Don't do alcohol. Don't use a bunch of Tren and Winstrol, okay? There's no reason we can't still lift heavy into middle age and up to old age. And people say this, well, you're going to regret it. Except that, I went to a powerlifting meet 3 years ago I was at. And it was a Texas State Championship. I broke some state records. And for age class, for Masters too. And, I met a 75-year-old man and his 74-year-old wife who were competing together. They were both competing that day in powerlifting. So to the people who are like, oh, yeah, that heavy lifting, well, then how is this married couple in their 70s competing in powerlifting? And notice it's not just one of them, it's the husband and the wife. Could it be because they're both training smart and they said live the same lifestyle? They probably train together, have similar training, they eat similar diets. Okay? It's not the heavy lifting that gets you. It's bad programming. It's stupidity. It's ego lifting. I mean, I love Ronnie Coleman to death, but, people say, well, he got hurt really heavy. He got hurt from ego lifting. Ronnie got hurt from ego lifting. Now, that ego lifting didn't prevent him from winning, a ridiculous number of Mr. Olympias. But it was ego lifting. It wasn't just because he went heavy. It's ego lifting. It's wrapping yourself up like a mummy, bad programming, bad diet, right? Live a lifestyle geared towards it. There's nothing stopping you from lifting heavy, guys. And then do your hypertrophy work, do your tendon work, right? This is totally doable. But this idea, this ridiculous idea that because you lift heavy that automatically you're going to be hurt and beat up, yet I'm not as beat up as the average non-lifter I know my age, not even remotely close. Tells you everything you need to know.